In this video, I'm going to be talking about conference rooms. Now, the conference rooms, these are the different conference rooms that you are going to have at property level. So, for example, here, we have set up a few conference rooms on our test site here, and I will go through the flow and also show you how to add, remove, and join conference rooms, all right? So, as you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and click on Boardroom. Now, we've just numbered it. You can number it 1, 2, 3, 4, however you'd like to number it if you have different numbers associated with a conference room. Just for example purposes, we've just named it Boardroom. The name of the room is actually called Boardroom. This is the default unit price of this boardroom, so we're charging $1,000 every time somebody rents this boardroom here, and that's just for the room itself. And you could set a different price group. Price groups currently are not set up. However, if you would like to set up different price groups, you can watch my video on price groups. This is going to be the default reservation method here. So if you'd like to set the default to reserve, then you could do that. Or if you'd like to set the default to share, you could do that. This is the type. The type here is going to be either if it's a room or if it's a joined room. So for example, if you're renting, if you have an entire ballroom and in that ballroom you have dividers that can divide into 2 or 3 rooms. For example, you can rent the entire ballroom as one room, or you can rent room A, room B, room C, however you label it, as 3 separate rooms with the divider set up in the middle. That's where joined rooms comes into effect, and I'll kind of show you how to do that a little bit later in this video. Reader board display. Now, basically, this is what we have set up for a connection into something that is a TV that may be outside of a conference. Basically, what that will do is that'll show this room and all the events assigned to this room onto that reader board. That's all that is there. So you could decide to show or hide everything that is assigned into a boardroom on the reader board when guests check in or somebody is walking through the conference room area. They are able to see that there. Order and availability. Now, this can be set to 1, 2, 3, depending on which order you would like to show up on the BEO. However, we have them set to 99, so there is actually testing. All right. So let me talk a little bit about zones here, as I may have missed that. So you can assign different zones to conference rooms. So if you have zone A, zone B, you can set up zones and you can assign that here. And you also have a room type, as we discussed in an earlier video. So you have the different type of rooms, conference room types, and you can assign what type of conference room that is here, or you may leave that blank as you may have multiple rooms, room types in that conference room. However, we've already generalized that a boardroom, the room type is going to be meeting. So usually there are only going to be meetings that are going to be in the boardroom there. Now, these are different type of layouts. Now, we've discussed conference room layouts, and I'll kind of show you how to assign a layout here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a conference room layout. So in a boardroom, and this is all for example, we're going to assign, let's say, a functional room. Now, we're going to add a functional layout to boardroom here. All right, the maximum amount of seats that we're able to assign to a functional layout, we're going to say maybe 50. As we know, a boardroom may be a little small, and this is all for example. So I'm just going to make up some numbers here. The setup time, that's how long it's going to take to set up a function layout inside of a boardroom. So let's just say this will take 30 minutes, and you can do that on the fly here. Teardown time, how long will it take to actually tear the room down apart? As we know, it takes a little bit less time to tear down something. However, you can assign it to 30, or you can assign it to however you like. I'm just going to say 20 here. And now, as I talked about the room type here, now if this is going to be a default layout for this type of conference room. So every time I book a boardroom, if the default layout is going to be a meeting or a function, then I could set that here. However, you can only set one as a default, so you must choose. This will let you multi-select. However, once you go to save it, it will throw an error saying you can only select one. So if a function layout is going to be the default for a conference room, you select function here, and once you click save, now every time a boardroom is assigned, function layout is going to be the default. Now you're able to change these layouts at the time of booking. However, this just makes it a little easier when you're actually booking the different conference rooms. Here it's a little bit of the dimensions of the room, describe the width of the room, the length of the room, the area, the ceiling height. Here is where the revenue posting of this conference room is posted. So right now we just have it assigned to conference room charge, where all conference room charges will go into that conference room charge posting. And this is really for inventory and cost. So if you are doing costs at your property, then you could say what you could actually describe how much the cost of this conference booking or conference room may be. So you have a unit price of 1,000. However, this may only really cost you maybe 500 or even less. You could set that up here. All right, and joined rooms. Let's go ahead and join a room. I'm going to see here. We're going to say that a boardroom is a joined room. And we're going to say that this room here is also a joined room. All right. So let's save that. Now, this is where you go to update a joined room. All right. Now, let's go in here and we can add the different types of rooms into this. So we can assign, let's say, the Woodside room and the Vinters room consists of two rooms that are one large room of this here. And now when you go to this room, that shows that both of these rooms are inside of this room here. So now when you go and rent Woodside room, what will happen is if you rent Woodside rooms, then this room will not be able to be rented, as that consists of part of this room here. So that's all that does. All right, let's look at view price details. View price details basically shows you the different prices that are going to be associated with this boardroom. Now, we do set a default unit price here. That's just going to be a defaulted unit price. However, these can be set up to dynamic or static at any time. So let's just say that the conference room has a rate of conference. Now, conference is going to be a rate that you set up. Now, as you can see, we're able to look on the fly here at the different rates that may be associated with this boardroom here, and that's all this does.